If stories of lost civilizations, puzzling artifacts, or ancient traces buried beneath centuries of dust have ever sent a chill down your spine, then you're in the perfect place. Today, we're taking you on a journey into some of history's most enduring riddles, from forgotten structures hidden deep in the desert to secret symbols that have remained untouched for thousands of years. Prepare to question everything and let your imagination soar as we explore mysteries that still defy explanation. So buckle up as we dive into today's enigma. But first, legend has it you'll have incredible luck if you like and subscribe before this video ends. The mystery of the Lovelock Cave Giants. Thousands of years ago, in the arid deserts of Nevada, the Paiute people passed down a chilling legend about a tribe of red-haired giants known as the Ctacah. According to their stories, these giants were terrifying, roaming the land and spreading fear by hunting and eating humans. Desperate to end the nightmare, local tribes united, driving the giants into a cave and smoking them out until none survived. For centuries, the tale survived only through oral tradition, until archaeological discoveries in Lovelock Cave made people wonder whether there was more truth to the story than anyone realized. In 1911, two miners, David Pugh and James Hart, were digging inside the cave to collect bat guano for fertilizer. But instead of just bat droppings, they uncovered thousands of unusual artifacts, including woven baskets, bird traps, and oversized sandals up to 15 inches long. An official excavation began a year later, led by Llewellyn Loud of the University of California. His team collected more than 10,000 artifacts, including human bones. Early reports even described unusually large skeletons and mummified remains with red hair, some said to stand over 6.5 feet tall. The discovery reignited fascination with the legend of giants. Yet strangely, most of those large skeletons later disappeared, leaving behind more questions than answers. Lovelock Cave is both an archaeological treasure and a lingering mystery. It stretches more than 150 feet in length and about 30 feet in width. Inside, archaeologists found giant sandals, a massive handprint pressed into stone, and signs of fire near the entrance. Details that eerily match the Paiute legend of burning out the Ctacah. Some early reports referenced red-haired mummies, including a female about 6.5 feet tall and a male even taller. Modern scientists, however, argue that the red hair may be due to mineral staining or oxidation over time, and that the skeleton's true heights were closer to 5 feet 11 inches, tall but not quite giant. Untangling the Lovelock mystery has taken more than a century and remains shrouded in controversy. The 1912 excavation was poorly documented, and many artifacts were lost or taken into private collections. Later studies confirmed the cave was occupied continuously from around 1500 BCE to 440 CE, and that it was home to the world's oldest duck decoys. Modern DNA testing revealed that some human remains showed Eurasian origins but offered no proof of giants. The large skeletons once displayed at the Humboldt Museum were eventually reburied out of respect for native communities, making further research nearly impossible. Many theories have been proposed to explain the legend of the Ctacah. Some scientists say the ancient Lovelock inhabitants may simply have been taller than the average Paiute due to better nutrition, and that red hair could appear naturally or result from environmental effects. The 15-inch sandals may have belonged to someone nearly 2 meters tall, or perhaps the story simply grew more dramatic over generations. Others firmly believe the evidence of burning, the red hair, and the oversized artifacts are genuine signs of something extraordinary. Some even connect the Ctacah to biblical Nephilim or extraterrestrials, though no scientific evidence supports these ideas. Whether rooted in fact or folklore, the story of the Lovelock Giants remains a powerful reminder of how much mystery still surrounds ancient humanity. If the Ctacah truly existed, they reveal just how diverse our ancestors may have been. And if they are only myth, their legend still reflects generations of Paiute fears and storytelling. The mystery of the White Shaman Rock. Thousands of years ago, along the sun-baked limestone cliffs where the Pecos River meets the Rio Grande, ancient bands of hunter-gatherers left behind mysterious markings on the rock walls of the lower Pecos Canyonlands. Among more than 300 rock art sites in this region, the White Shaman Rock Shelter stands out like a hidden desert gem. Tucked into a small alcove just a few yards above the ground, the mural, 26 feet long and 13 feet high, is a dense tapestry of human and animal figures intertwined with abstract symbols. At sunset, warm colors seem to ignite across the stone, while under the moonlight the pale figure of a headless character known as the White Shaman emerges in haunting clarity. This painting belongs to the Pecos River style and was created sometime between 2500 BCE and 500 CE. For decades, archaeologists were puzzled by the true meaning behind these strange images. Some believed the mural was created by shamans depicting mystical visions or experiences from rituals involving the mescal plant. But in 1989, artist Carolyn Boyd stepped into the rock shelter and immediately sensed that these markings were far from random. To Boyd, the White Shaman was a carefully crafted narrative, not unlike a modern mural. Drawn deeper into the mystery, Boyd left her painting career to become an archaeologist, dedicating nearly 30 years of her life to decoding the secrets of the White Shaman. Reaching this site is no easy task. You must cross the Chihuahuan Desert, hike more than 1.5 miles, and descend a rocky slope nearly 250 feet high beneath scorching heat that can reach 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Only the truly passionate make the journey out here. But when you finally stand before the mural, all the exhaustion fades away. Figures as tall as 20 feet, and others just thin lines, seem to tell a story that stretches beyond time. One visitor once said, "It feels as if I can hear the whispers of ancient people echoing through this canyon." After years of study, Boyd came to believe that the White Shaman mural is not just artwork but a story about the birth of the sun and the beginning of time itself. In her 2016 book, The White Shaman Mural, she proposed that the symbols carved into the rock reflect the beliefs of the Uto-Aztecan peoples, ancestors of groups like the Huichol and Nahua in Mexico. The biggest clue came from a Huichol shaman who wept when he saw the mural, recognizing within it the creation myth of his own people. Symbols like the winding snake, representing the border between the material and spiritual worlds, or figures wearing feathered headdresses that mark the shaman's journey. These elements have been preserved on stone for 4,000 years, making the White Shaman one of the oldest pictorial records in North America. Still, not everyone agrees with Boyd's interpretation. Some archaeologists argue that the images may relate to hunting rituals or represent displays of power by shamans within the community. Others caution that applying modern mythology to ancient art could distort its original meaning. Yet even the most skeptical experts admit that this mural is a one-of-a-kind treasure, and that the White Shaman remains a special part of the region's heritage. Today, the White Shaman mural is protected by the Witt Museum and the Shumla Archaeological Research Center, both founded by Boyd herself. Tours run from September to May, attracting explorers willing to brave the elements for a glimpse of this masterpiece. And even as science continues to advance, the mystery of the White Shaman endures. Do we truly understand the story these ancient people hope to tell? Or are we merely brushing the surface of a world long lost? The mystery of the Baigong pipes. In 1996, in a remote region near the city of Dalinga in Qinghai Province, China, a writer named Bai Yu made a strange discovery while exploring the Baigong Mountains. As he walked along a cliff, he noticed a triangular cave about 6 meters high, as if it had been deliberately carved out by someone. When he stepped inside, he could hardly believe what he saw. Scattered across the stone floor and embedded in the walls were numerous rust-colored metal pipes, ranging from just a few millimeters to nearly 40 centimeters in diameter. Some of these pipes extended outside the cave, running along the mountainside and stretching all the way to the shore of Lake Tosan, a saltwater lake about 80 meters away. At first glance, it looked like some sort of intentionally designed system. What made the discovery even more astonishing was the setting. The area is isolated, arid, and perched at an altitude of nearly 2,800 meters. Archaeologists noted that there were virtually no traces of human habitation here for tens of thousands of years, making the presence of metal pipes all the more puzzling. After Chinese media reported the discovery in 2002, scientists rushed to investigate. The Beijing Institute of Geology collected pipe samples for testing. The results showed that the pipes were made primarily of iron oxide, with about 8% of their composition remaining unidentified. The results showed that the pipes were made primarily of iron oxide, with about 8% of their composition remaining unidentified. With about 8% of their composition remaining unidentified. The results showed that the pipes were made primarily of iron oxide, with about 8% of their composition remaining unidentified. Even more incredible, dating methods suggested the pipes could have formed as far back as 150,000 years ago, a time when humans had only just discovered fire and relied on the simplest tools. No one could explain why such a complex iron pipe system would exist in a region with no evidence of ancient metallurgy. Many theories have been proposed. Some believe these are remnants of a long-lost civilization or even the work of extraterrestrials. Their reasoning is that the area features a mountain shaped like a pyramid next to a vast salt lake, details that spark ideas of a hidden base. Some have even suggested the pipes are remnants of UFO technology left on Earth. However, scientists have offered more grounded explanations. Some studies found traces of plant matter and growth rings inside the pipes. According to this theory, the pipes may be fossilized tree roots that gradually became mineralized over time due to the region's iron-rich environment. Similar phenomena have been recorded in Louisiana, where fossilized tree roots were discovered encased in metal shells. Other surveys found that the pipes contained high levels of carbon and various minerals, supporting this natural explanation. Still, not everyone is convinced. Why are the pipes so uniform in size and arranged like an engineered network? Why do they exist in a place that was once an ancient wetland but is now bone dry? And what about the 8% unidentified material or the mild radioactivity detected in some samples? More than 20 years have passed since the discovery, and the mystery of the bygone pipes remains unsolved. The site has become a tourist attraction, though its remote location and proximity to a military zone have limited research. Some geologists believe the answer lies in the complex geological history of the Qinghai Plateau, where ancient floods may have left behind layers of iron-rich sediment. But for mystery lovers, the bygone pipes are a reminder that there is still so much about our planet we do not understand. Are these natural fossils or evidence of a lost civilization? The mystery of the Rapa Nui Moai statues. Rapa Nui, also known as Easter Island, is a small island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, more than 2,300 miles from mainland Chile. It is considered the most isolated inhabited place on Earth, measuring just about 14 miles long and 7 miles wide. Yet on this remote island, the people of Rapa Nui created one of humanity's greatest enigmas. Nearly 1,000 giant Moai statues, some standing 33 feet tall and weighing tens of tons. The story of how these statues were made, and why so many were eventually toppled, continues to captivate people to this day. The history of Rapa Nui was first recorded in 1722, when Dutch explorer Jacob Roggeveen landed on the island on Easter Sunday and named it Easter Island. He described seeing towering stone statues, with local people kneeling before them as though they were gods. Yet only a few centuries later, most of the Moai had been toppled onto the dry grass. So what really happened on this island? According to archaeologists, most of the Moai statues were carved at an extinct volcano called Reino Raraku. 95% of the Moai were made from a type of compressed volcanic ash that is soft and easy to carve, while a few others, such as the famous Hoa Hakananae at the British Museum, were carved from much harder basalt stone. Some statues also wear red stone hats, believed to represent the hair and spiritual power of tribal leaders. The greatest challenge, however, was how the Rapa Nui people, using only stone tools and ropes, could move these massive statues, some weighing up to 86 tons, across the island's rugged landscape. One of the best-known theories is that the ancient islanders used ropes to walk the statues. They would stand a statue upright, tie ropes to both sides, and then rock it back and forth, inching it forward until it reached its final destination. Modern experiments with 5-ton replicas have shown that this method is possible using only a few dozen people. Still, Rapa Nui legends say the Moai walked by themselves, moved by the mana, the spiritual power of their chiefs, offering a mystical explanation for something that seems nearly impossible even today. Others believe the statues were transported on logs or wooden rollers, a method that may have contributed to the island's deforestation. In fact, when the first settlers arrived around the year 1200, Rapa Nui was covered in towering palm forests. By the 18th century, the island was nearly barren, possibly due to expanding agriculture or the extensive use of timber to move the Moai. Another major question is why construction of the Moai suddenly stopped. When Europeans arrived in 1722, Many statues still lay unfinished at the Reino Ruraka quarry, including El Gigante, a colossal statue more than 70 feet tall and weighing nearly 200 tons, which was never completed. Some researchers believe that war, disease, or a collapse of resources after deforestation led to the downfall of Rapa Nui civilization. Rapa Nui's history also includes deep tragedy. After European contact, the island was devastated by disease and the slave trade. The population plummeted from thousands to just 111 people by 1877. Most of the Moai were toppled, perhaps due to conflict or because the people had lost faith in their ancestral gods. Some statues, like Hoa Hakananae, were taken away and remain the center of heated debates about whether they should be returned to Rapa Nui. Today, Rapa Nui is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that attracts thousands of visitors each year. Many Moai have been restored thanks to the efforts of local communities and archaeologists. Still, new threats, such as climate change and wildfires, have destroyed hundreds of statues, putting this precious legacy at risk. The mystery of the Sanxingdui bronzes. In 1929, in a quiet village in Sichuan province, China, a farmer digging an irrigation ditch unexpectedly unearthed jade and stone fragments with extremely unusual shapes. He had no idea he had uncovered traces of a civilization nearly lost to history. But it wasn't until 1986, when brick workers discovered two massive ritual pits, that the world truly began to take notice. In these two pits, archaeologists uncovered more than 1,000 unique artifacts. Giant bronze masks with prominently protruding eyes, human statues standing over 8.5 feet tall, a 4-meter bronze tree with birds perched on its branches, and hundreds of items made of gold and jade. All of these belong to the Sanxingdui culture, a civilization that existed from around 2700 to 1000 BCE, contemporary with the Shang dynasty in northern China. Unlike the Shang, however, the people of Sanxingdui left behind no writing or records, making these bronze treasures our only keys to understanding this ancient kingdom. The artifacts from Sanxingdui look unlike anything ever found in ancient China. The most striking is a large bronze mask unearthed in 2021, featuring bulging eyes and enormous ears, appearing almost godlike or supernatural. Archaeologists believe these masks were once mounted on wooden poles or worn during ancestor transformation rituals. Some masks even contain traces of red paint on their lips and marks near the ears, as though they had been awakened to participate in special ceremonies. Another remarkable bronze statue stands 8.5 feet tall, depicting a figure with two massive bracelets and cupped hands, as if holding a sacred object. In 2019, a new round of excavations at Sanxingdui led to even more astonishing discoveries. 6 additional ritual pits were found near the original 2, and between 2020 and 2022, archaeologists uncovered more than 13,000 new artifacts. Among them were a gold mask weighing half a kilogram, the oldest piece of silk ever found in Sichuan, and a strange bronze statue with a human head and a snake's body. The head of the excavation team believes silk may have been used in rituals to bridge the human and divine worlds. What makes Sanxingdui even more mysterious is that most of the artifacts were deliberately smashed or burned before being buried. Many archaeologists think this was part of religious ceremonies or offerings to ancestors, but no one knows for certain. And no one has explained why, around 1100 BCE, the entire city, spanning more than 3.6 square kilometers, was suddenly abandoned. The true nature of Sanxingdui is still debated. Some scholars believe it was merely a trading center heavily influenced by the Shang or Southeast Asian cultures, rather than an independent kingdom. Others point to artifacts like the human-headed snake statues and ancient ritual wine vessels as evidence of cultural mixing with the Zhou dynasty. There are even bold theories claiming that the large-eyed, big-nosed masks may be connected to groups from Central Asia or ancient India, though no solid proof has emerged. Today, Sanxingdui is being nominated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, complete with a modern museum showcasing its dazzling archaeological treasures. He described seeing towering stone statues with local people kneeling before them as if they were gods. But just a few centuries later, most of the Moai had been toppled onto the dry grass. So what really happened on this island? According to archaeologists, Most of the Moai statues were carved at an extinct volcano called Reino Raraku. 95% of the Moai were made from a type of compressed volcanic ash that is soft and easy to carve, while a few others, like the famous Hahakanaya at the British Museum, were made from much harder basalt stone. Some statues also wear red stone hats, which are believed to represent the hair and spiritual power of tribal leaders. The greatest challenge, though, was how the Rapanui people with only stone tools and ropes could move these massive stones, some weighing up to 86 tons across the island's rugged terrain. One of the best-known theories is that the ancient islanders used ropes to walk the statues. They would stand a statue upright, tie ropes to both sides, and then rock it back and forth, inching it forward until it reached its final location. Modern experiments using 5-tonon replicas have shown that this method is possible with just a few dozen people. Still, Rapanui legends say the Moai walked themselves, moved by the mana, spiritual power, of their chiefs, offering a mystical explanation for something that seems impossible even now. Others believe the statues were moved on logs or rollers, and that this could have led to the island's deforestation. In fact, when the first people arrived around the year 1200, Rapanui was covered with towering palm forests. By the 18th century, the island was nearly barren, possibly due to expanding agriculture or the need for timber to transport the Moai. Another big question is why the construction of the Moai suddenly stopped. When Europeans arrived in 1722, many statues still lay unfinished at the Reino Raraku quarry, including El Gigante, a colossal statue more than 70 foot tall and weighing nearly 200 tons, which was never completed. Some researchers believe that war, disease, or the collapse of resources after deforestation led to the downfall of Rapanui's civilization. Rapanui's history also has its share of tragedy. After contact with Europeans, the island was ravaged by disease and the slave trade. The population dropped from thousands to just 111 people by 1877. Most of the Moai were toppled, perhaps due to conflict or because the people lost faith in their gods. Some statues like Hoa Hakanea were taken away and are still at the center of heated debate about whether they should be returned to Rapanui. Today, Rapanui is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that attracts thousands of visitors every year. Many Moai have been restored thanks to the efforts of local communities and archaeologists. Still, new challenges like climate change and wildfires have destroyed hundreds of statues, threatening this precious legacy. The mystery of the Sanxingdui bronzes. In 1929, in a quiet village in Sichuan province, China, a farmer was digging an irrigation ditch when he unexpectedly unearthed some jade and stone fragments with very unusual shapes. He had no idea that he had just stumbled upon traces of a civilization that was almost lost to history. But it wasn't until 1986, when brick workers discovered 2 massive ritual pits, that the world truly began to pay attention. In these 2 pits, archaeologists found more than 1,000 unique artifacts: giant bronze masks with strangely protruding eyes, human statues standing over 8.5 foot tall, a 4M bronze tree with birds perched on its branches, along with hundreds of items made from golden jade. All of these belong to the Sanxingdui culture, a civilization that existed from around 2700 to 1000 BCE, contemporary with the Shang dynasty in northern China. But unlike the Shang, the people of Sanxingdui left behind no writing or records, making these bronze artifacts the only keys we have to unlocking the mysteries of this ancient kingdom. The artifacts from Sanxingdui look like nothing else ever found in ancient China. The most striking is a large bronze mask unearthed in 2021 with eyes that bulge outward and enormous ears appearing almost godlike or supernatural. Archaeologists believe these masks were once mounted on wooden poles or worn by people during ancestor transformation rituals. Some masks even have traces of red paint on their lips and marks near the ears, as if they had been awakened to take part in special ceremonies. Another remarkable bronze statue stands 8.5 foot tall, depicting a figure with 2 massive bracelets and cupped hands as if holding a sacred object. In 2019, a new round of excavations at Sanxingdui led to even more astonishing discoveries. 6 more ritual pits were found near the original 2. And between 2020 and 2022, archaeologists brought to light over 13,000 new artifacts. Among them were a gold mask weighing half a kilogram, the oldest piece of silk ever found in Sichuan, and a strange bronze statue with a human head and snake's body. The head of the excavation team believes that silk was also used in rituals to bridge the human and divine worlds. However, what makes Sanxingdui even more mysterious is that most of the artifacts were deliberately smashed or burned before being buried. Many archaeologists think this was part of religious ceremonies or offerings to ancestors, but no one knows for sure. And no one has explained why around 1100 BCE the entire city covering more than 3.6 kilometers was suddenly abandoned. The true meaning of Sanxingdui is still debated. Some scholars believe it was merely a trading center heavily influenced by the Shang or Southeast Asian cultures, not an independent kingdom. Others point to artifacts like the human-headed snake statues and ancient ritual wine vessels as evidence of cultural mixing with the Zhou dynasty. There are even bold theories suggesting that the large-eyed big-nosed masks are connected to groups from Central Asia or ancient India, though there's still no solid proof. Today, Sanxingdui is being nominated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site with a modern museum displaying its dazzling archaeological treasures. Many researchers have questioned the authenticity of the stone. Some scholars believe it could simply be a modern hoax. They note that the inscription is full of grammatical mistakes, odd punctuation, and a random mix of characters that don't fit any known ancient text. There are even stories claiming that two students from the University of New Mexico carved the stone in 1930 as a prank on Hibben. Other archaeological teams, after examining the site in 1953, concluded that the natural patina on the stone did not fully cover the inscriptions, suggesting that the carvings may have been made recently. Even so, some still defend the idea that the stone is much older than skeptics believe. Geologist George Mohaus once compared the weathering of the lost Lunas inscription to modern graffiti on the mountaintop and saw a marked difference, suggesting the stone could be anywhere from 500 to 2,000 years old. Researcher Barry Fell argued that some of the punctuation actually matches ancient texts, though his views have not been widely accepted. So, what is the lost Luna Decalogue stone really? Is it an ancient Semitic relic lost in the Americas or a clever 20th century hoax? Whether genuine or fake, the lost Luna stone continues to attract mystery lovers, researchers, and curious visitors who hike up the hillside to see it for themselves. The mystery of the Costa Rican jade figurines. Imagine standing inside the Jade Museum in San Jose, Costa Rica, surrounded by tiny jade figurines, each only a few centimeters tall, but carved with remarkable skill. Some take the shape of people wearing feathered headdresses. Others are owls with large round eyes or mysterious creatures that are half human, half animal. These works belong to the indigenous cultures of Costa Rica, dating from around 500 BCE to 700 CE. They were not just ornaments, but symbols of power, belief, and a connection to the gods. Yet, there's something especially strange. There is no jade in Costa Rica. The only source of this stone is the Montagua River Valley in Guatemala, more than 600 m away. So, how did these precious blocks of jade ever reach Costa Rica? In 1939, archaeologist Doris Stone began recording jade artifacts in burial sites and ancient villages. By 1977, the Jade Museum was established in San Jose and now houses nearly 7,000 artifacts. These jade figurines were mainly jewelry worn by the elite and tribal leaders. One popular style is the axe god pendant, shaped like a person or bird carved onto an axe blade. Others are carved in the form of owls, frogs, or snakes, symbols of fertility and good fortune. The ancient technique for working jade remains a major mystery. Jade is extremely hard, rating between 6 and 7 on the MO scale, so it required complex methods to shape. The ancient Costa Ricans developed a unique string saw technique using cord and abrasive powder to carve curved lines into the stone. Some pieces, like the feathered headdress pendant in the Denver Museum, are thought to have taken years to complete. The finest works used blue-green jade from Guatemala, while more common versions were made from local greenstones like serpentine. The presence of jade in Costa Rica points to an extensive trade network stretching from Central America down to Costa Rica from the 3rd century BCE to the 8th century CE. Traders may have bartered with the Maya or Olmec to bring jade back and have it crafted into figurines. When trade centers like the Mayan city of Copan collapsed around 700 CE, the jade supply dried up and was gradually replaced by gold. Not everyone agrees on the true meaning of these jade statues. Some scholars believe they were religious icons meant to connect with the gods or ancestors. Others emphasize their social role, viewing the feathered headdress figures as symbols of leadership and power. There are even theories that their style was influenced by South American cultures, though no archaeological evidence has confirmed this idea yet. The mystery of the Elton antenna. Elton was no ordinary ship. Once a U.S. Navy icebreaker, it was later transformed into the first oceanographic research vessel devoted to exploring the Antarctic. The Elton's mission was to collect seafloor samples and capture images of landscapes no one had ever seen before deep beneath thousands of meters of water. On one such mission, while photographing at a depth of nearly 4,000 m, the ship captured an image that stunned both the scientific community and the public. That photograph revealed a strange object standing upright on the desolate ocean floor. It was about 1.66 m tall, shaped like a vertical column with evenly spaced branches, each ending in a small sphere. At a glance, it looked like a modern television antenna or some kind of advanced technology. At the time, there was no way for any man-made device to be placed at such depth. So what exactly was this object? The photo quickly appeared in the New Zealand Herald under the headline "Mystery Image from the Ocean Floor" and immediately sparked widespread speculation. Many UFO researchers and conspiracy theorists believed this was an alien artifact, possibly placed on the seafloor to monitor Earth or communicate with other civilizations. Some even thought the antenna's location sat on an ancient planetary grid tied to mysterious cycles of the Earth and connected it to numbers like 144, which some claimed were linked to the speed of light. Not everyone, however, bought into the supernatural theories. In 1971, oceanographers Bruce Heen and Charles Hollister wrote in their book, The Face of the Deep, that the object in the photo was actually a carnivorous sponge called Cladorhiza concretans. They pointed out that this species looks remarkably similar to the Elton antenna. In truth, an illustration created by Alexander Agassiz in 1888 depicts the sponge appearing almost identical to a modern microwave tower. Even then, not everyone felt convinced by the explanation. Why had the Altonan science team failed to recognize it as a sponge immediately? Besides, these sponges generally grow in groups, yet the Allen object stood completely alone. Its structure seemed too symmetrical, too solid, and far more like a technological construct than a natural organism. The mystery deepened further in 2003, when researcher Tom Deary confirmed that the object had indeed been identified as a sponge. But this information circulated quietly within scientific communities only. That made some people question whether there had been an attempt to keep the true identity of the Elton antenna concealed. To this day, the object has never been seen again. The region where it was originally photographed remains one of the most unforgiving and unreachable places on Earth. Some believe that if it truly had been a technological relic, it may have been retrieved or hidden. So what was the Elton antenna in the end? Was it a misinterpreted deep-sea organism or a forgotten technological artifact? The mystery of the Russian megaspheres. During the summer of 2016, on Russia's Champ Island, a group of miners encountered a shocking discovery. While extracting coal, they came across dozens of enormous stone spheres scattered across the icy terrain. Some measured nearly 4 m across, making them larger than almost any naturally formed stone spheres known to science. What astonished observers most was the smoothness of their surfaces, nearly polished to perfection, as if deliberately shaped by skilled hands. A few had fractured, exposing layered bands inside, resembling colossal marbles formed across millions of years. Locals named them Seda, and soon stories of the Russian megaspheres spread worldwide. Champ Island is an extraordinarily hostile environment where temperatures plunge to -30 degrees Celsius and snow and ice cover the land for most of the year. Yet during the short summer melt, these giant spheres emerge from the bare ground. The discovery rapidly drew scientists from the Russian Institute of Geology, who concluded that the spheres had formed through a process known as concretion, in which minerals accumulate within ancient seafloor sediments. Millions of years ago, substances like calcite and silica slowly collected around a tiny nucleus, developing concentric layers that eventually grew into perfect spheres. This process unfolds over immense spans of time, Although this geological phenomenon occurs elsewhere, such as the Moai boulders in New Zealand, the spheres on Champ Island stand out for their enormous size and abundance. Many are twice the size of those found in other regions, and some appear almost intentionally positioned, sparking curiosity. Could natural forces alone produce something so flawless? Or was there another influence involved? Within a few weeks, conspiracy theories spread across social media and mystery forums. Some compared the megaspheres to the Klerksdorp spheres in South Africa, which some claim to be billions of years old and possibly shaped by intelligent beings. Geologist Andre Even, who investigated the site, once commented, "They look too perfect to be only a product of nature. But if not, then who made them and how?" Questions like these only intensified the intrigue surrounding the megaspheres. Still, many scientists remain careful, suggesting that after millions of years, erosion merely exposed these formations at the surface. They argue this is yet another extraordinary natural wonder forged by Earth itself. The tale grew even stranger in 2018 when an amateur expedition journeyed to Champ Island to inspect the megaspheres firsthand. They claimed that lightly tapping some of the spheres produced a hollow, bell-like resonance. Theories expanded further, proposing that the spheres could be remnants of an ancient civilization or arranged as part of ceremonial structures. Others wondered, if these formations are fully natural, why do they cluster in groups, sometimes forming circular patterns? Further study of the megaspheres has been restricted due to the island's extreme remoteness and punishing climate. Adding to the complication, Franz Josef Land, the region containing Champ Island, once served as a classified Soviet military site, home to some of the world's most powerful nuclear tests, including the Tsar Bomba detonation. This history has only deepened the mystery, with many believing that the true origins of these stone spheres may still be withheld from the public. The Red Deer Cave People. In 1979, inside a narrow cave in Guangxi Province, China, a petroleum geologist stumbled upon an unusual block of hardened sediment. Contained within the block were human bones, animal remains, charcoal fragments, and burned clay. Recognizing its potential significance, he transported the entire block to the Yunnan Provincial Museum in Kunming for detailed examination. A decade later, in 1989, archaeologists began excavating another cave near Mangxi City, also in Yunnan. This site became known as Red Deer Cave. As researchers dug through layers of earth, they uncovered additional human bones, stone tools, and large quantities of scorched red deer remains. These findings indicated that the people who once inhabited the area hunted and consumed red deer regularly. Thus, they became known as the Red Deer Cave People. But the real mystery began only in 2008 when a team of international scientists led by Darren Kernow and Ji Shuing undertook a deeper analysis. They determined that the bones dated between 17,800 and 11,500 years old, revealing that these people lived near the final days of the Ice Age. What puzzled researchers most was that the skeletons showed many characteristics similar to ancient humans. Flat skulls, broad noses, projecting jaws, thick brow ridges, and dense cranial bones. These traits closely matched Homo erectus, an early human species that had lived in Africa more than 1 million years earlier. Yet the Red Deer Cave People existed at the same time as modern humans, during the earliest rise of farming communities in China. In 2010, archaeologists discovered a small thigh bone with a thin outer wall, resembling the femurs of Homo erectus. The individual it came from would have weighed only around 50 kilograms. When these findings were revealed in 2012, scientists were astonished. Darren Kernow and his team proposed that this could represent a new type of human or the remnants of an ancient population that survived in isolation within the mountains of southwest China. Others suggested these people might be the result of interbreeding between modern humans and another ancient group, such as the Denisovans, a mysterious form of human known only through DNA and once widespread across Asia. Another idea proposed that the highlands had acted as a refuge for ancient humans, similar to how the hobbits endured for so long on Flores Island in Indonesia. But disagreement persisted. Marta Mirazan-Lar, an evolutionary biologist at Cambridge University, believed the Red Deer Cave People were simply modern humans who developed unusual traits within a small, isolated community. She argued that modern humans can display a wide range of diversity and that unusual traits do not necessarily indicate a new species. However, in 2015, when the research team re-examined the thigh bone, they determined it fell outside the known variation of modern humans, suggesting it belonged to a more ancient lineage. Some experts believed this supported the idea of an early migration out of Africa, predating the major dispersal of modern humans across Asia nearly 60,000 years ago. Everything shifted in 2022 when Chinese scientists succeeded in sequencing part of the DNA from the Malyadong skull. The results were unexpected. The Red Deer Cave people were in fact modern humans, closely related to present-day East Asians and Native Americans. The skull belonged to a woman who may have been an ancestor of the earliest peoples who crossed the Bering Strait into the Americas. Still, the mystery lingers. If the Red Deer Cave people were modern humans, why did they possess features resembling ancient humans who had long gone extinct? If they were hybrids or a distinct species, how did they persist alongside modern societies at the close of the Ice Age? This story reminds us that the human past is full of complexity and that across Asia, countless hidden caves may still guard secrets yet to be discovered. The Indus Valley Script, an unresolved enigma. Over 4,000 years ago, across the sprawling lands near the Indus River, a remarkable ancient civilization thrived. This was the world of major cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, where streets, homes, and drainage systems were arranged with a sophistication far beyond most societies of the era. And yet, one puzzle continues to baffle archaeologists and historians: the writing system of the Indus people. Since the late 19th century, when explorers first uncovered small stone seals bearing mysterious symbols, scholars have asked the same questions. What do these signs represent? And what stories might they reveal about a once flourishing culture? These seals, often no larger than a human palm, contain carvings of animals, people, and sequences of unusual symbols. To date, researchers have gathered more than 4,000 of these seals, yet none have been deciphered. The symbols of the Indus remain distinct. They are unlike any other ancient writing system. Not Egyptian, not Mesopotamian, not Chinese. Most inscriptions contain only 3 to 5 characters, sometimes more, but none include long texts or detailed narratives. The symbols were carved with precision, suggesting that ancient artisans placed great importance on recording information, even though we still cannot interpret their meaning. Numerous theories have been proposed. Some scholars believe the script might be syllabic, similar to Sumerian or Egyptian hieroglyphs. Others think the symbols may represent concepts, like the ideograms of ancient Chinese. Another idea claims the Indus markings may not be true writing at all, but instead symbols used to identify goods or families involved in trade or rituals. Over the last century, many attempts have been made to decode the script. One of the greatest obstacles is the absence of a bilingual text, like the Rosetta Stone, which unlocked Egyptian hieroglyphs. Additionally, the limited number of characters and short inscriptions make comparison difficult. What is unusual is that despite the civilization's advanced development, after the Indus civilization declined around 1900 BC, all traces of their script and language vanished entirely. Many researchers believe that if the Indus script is ever decoded, we may finally uncover details about their daily life, spiritual beliefs, and perhaps even the reason behind their sudden collapse. But until that happens, those tiny seals with their mysterious symbols remain silent, still guarding the secrets of one of the world's most intriguing civilizations. Giroft, the forgotten culture along the Halil River. In early 2001, in the Hale River Valley of southeastern Iran, a powerful flood transformed everything. The normally calm river tore away layers of soil, exposing a hidden world buried for millennia. As the waters drained, an enormous ancient cemetery filled with thousands of graves emerged. But many of the tombs had already been disturbed by looters. Strange artifacts soon surfaced on the black market. Delicate jade bracelets, finely carved drinking vessels, ornate game boards, and weapons inlaid with gemstones. No one knew where these treasures originated until Iranian authorities intervened. By late 2001, officials had detained several smugglers and seized a large collection of artifacts in Throne. The trail led directly to the Halil Valley near the city of Giroft, a quiet region not far from the Persian Gulf. When archaeologists arrived, they quickly realized this was no ordinary burial site. Beneath the soil lay traces of a Bronze Age civilization flourishing from around 2500 to 2200 BCE, complete with developed urban centers and perhaps even an independent writing system. Nearby, two artificial mounds revealed further secrets, including evidence of a vast fortress and an ancient ceremonial structure. What archaeologists uncovered at Giroft astonished the world. A chlorite stone vessel depicted a two-horned figure grappling with serpents, a scene reminiscent of ancient Sumerian mythology. A heavy stone, possibly once used as a weight, bore carvings of people subduing wild animals, a common theme throughout the Bronze Age. Cylindrical jars modeled after palace facades with columns and miniature ziggurats closely mirrored architecture from ancient Mesopotamia. Archaeologist Isef Majid even suggested that Giroft might be the legendary land of Erata, described in Sumerian lore as a place of immense wealth. He pointed to an ancient brick engraved with geometric symbols, possibly the oldest Elamite writing ever discovered, and speculated that this site could be the true birthplace of ununiform script. However, many experts, including Oscar Muscarella, argued that these claims require stronger evidence. Giroft becomes even more intriguing when considering its immense scale. Konar Sandalby rises roughly 21 m high. Beneath it lie the ruins of a massive two-story fortress with brick walls up to 11 m thick. Konar Sandala, located less than a mile away, contains a ceremonial structure and may once have served as a grand temple. Since 2014, international teams from Italy, France, and Germany have worked at Giroft, uncovering evidence of residential districts and ancient workshops. Most striking of all, the cylinder seals discovered here are identical to those found in Mesopotamia, suggesting a sophisticated system of administration and trade. Yet some scholars argue that Giroft was not an independent civilization, but rather a major trade hub heavily influenced by neighboring cultures such as Elam to the west or the Indus Valley to the east. The diverse cross-cultural artifacts found here support this view. Despite ongoing academic debates, the mystery of Giroft persists. If this truly was the center of a great civilization, why was it forgotten for 5 millennia? Perhaps the flood of 2001 was a pivotal moment, unexpectedly unveiling the secrets of a long-forgotten world. Giroft reminds us that human history is filled with hidden realms and unanswered questions. Sometimes, all it takes is a sudden flood to reveal a civilization that once prospered and then vanished into the shadows of ancient mysteries. The Tartaria tablets, a lingering enigma in Eastern Europe. In the summer of 1961, in a modest village within Romania's Transylvania region, archaeologist Nicolae Valesa and his team were excavating a Neolithic settlement. As they dug deeper into a ritual pit, an unusual scene emerged. There, they uncovered 26 clay and stone figurines, a seashell bracelet, and the charred remains of an adult. Early interpretations suggested the individual may have been a shaman or someone of ritual importance. But what truly astonished the team were 3 small clay tablets, each measuring only about 6 centimeters in length and engraved with mysterious signs. Notably, 1 rectangular tablet and 1 circular tablet had holes drilled through them, possibly indicating they were once worn or hung for display. These clay tablets, soon called the Tartaria tablets, sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. The symbols on them resembled an early form of writing. 1 tablet depicts a horned animal beside what looks like a tree or leafy branch. The remaining 2 contain abstract markings and various geometric shapes. What is especially striking is how closely these symbols resemble those of the Vinca symbol system, belonging to a prehistoric culture that once spanned Romania between roughly 4,500 and 3,700 BC. But what truly sets the Tartaria tablets apart is the ongoing debate over their age. Based on the surrounding artifacts and soil layer, some scholars believe the tablets could date to around 5,300 BCE. If accurate, this would make them older than both Sumerian cuneiform and Egyptian hieroglyphs by at least 1,000 years, suggesting that Eastern Europe, not Mesopotamia, might have been the birthplace of the world's first writing. Yet this idea remains controversial. When Walesa sent the tablets to the Cluj Museum for conservation, they were accidentally fired at high temperatures, destroying any possibility of direct carbon-14 dating. This mishap triggered intense scholarly debate regarding their true age. The mystery deepened as researchers compared the Tartaria tablets to artifacts from other regions. Some linguists proposed they could be linked to linear crypt or might even represent the earliest prototype of writing later found on the island of Cyprus. But to this day, no one has successfully deciphered the symbols. The Vinca system includes around 700 distinct signs, nearly as many as Egyptian hieroglyphs, leading linguists like Harman to argue that this was indeed a true writing system used for recording trade or ritual activities. However, the inscriptions are very short, making them extraordinarily difficult to interpret. There are even more daring theories. Some believe the Tartaria tablets hint at a lost civilization, one with writing predating Sumer, but erased or forgotten over time. While no concrete evidence supports this idea, it continues to inspire speculation about an ancient Eastern Europe that may have once thrived before fading into obscurity. A few have tried linking the symbols to ancient Magwar, but these theories face strong opposition due to lack of credible evidence. The 10,000-year-old dwarf skeleton. The discovery of the 10,000-year-old dwarf skeleton in China has raised questions that scientists still struggle to fully address. The story begins in 2007 in a region near the Yellow River in east-central China. Here, archaeologists were excavating an ancient burial site where they uncovered a number of skeletons belonging to the Yangsha culture dating back about 5,000 to 7,000 years. All of these skeletons had been carefully buried with hands placed on their chests as a sign of communal respect. But standing out among these ordinary remains was one small, unusual skeleton. This person was laid to rest separately with both hands hidden behind the back, almost as if to set them apart from the rest. After studying the remains, scientists determined that this skeleton was even older than the others around it. This person had lived at the end of the Neolithic era, roughly 10,000 years ago. What caught the archaeologists' attention was the shape of the body. This was an individual with proportionate dwarfism, meaning the body was small, but all the proportions were balanced, different from the more common forms of dwarfism today. Based on the teeth and bones, this was a young adult about 16 to 20 years old at the time of death. The bones were thin and showed signs of osteoporosis, suggesting that life was far from easy. Among the tens of thousands of ancient skeletons discovered around the world, there have been fewer than 40 cases of dwarfism ever recorded. And this is one of the oldest known to science. This left researchers puzzled. How could someone so small and physically weak survive in a hunter-gatherer society where physical strength was almost essential for survival? To find the answer, scientists spent more than a decade studying the case. The team X-rayed the bones, examined the teeth, and analyzed the physical development in detail. They concluded that the individual suffered from hypothyroidism or pituitary dwarfism from an early age, resulting in a small stature. But how did this person really live in a society where being different could mean being cast out? The burial itself raised more questions. The hands hidden behind the back. Was this a special ritual or a sign of exclusion? Being buried with the community could mean this person was still accepted or perhaps even held a special place in society. Some scholars speculate that in ancient China, people who were different might have been valued for their intelligence or special abilities. Was this person a shaman or did they have a spiritual role? Another theory is that the dwarf skeleton was the result of genetics in a small isolated community where hereditary conditions were more likely. Yet later, historical records show that little people were sometimes treated unfairly or even enslaved in royal courts. Beyond the scientific research, bold ideas have emerged. Some have linked the skeleton to legends of little people in Asian folklore. Others have suggested this might be evidence of an isolated ancient group or even the remains of a different human species. Even though these theories lack hard evidence, they raise an important question. How many mysteries in human history have we yet to discover? What's truly remarkable is that the 10,000-year-old dwarf skeleton is not just an archaeological artifact. It is a window into the diversity of ancient humanity. The fact that such a small individual could live and be buried alongside the community shows that society back then may have been more accepting than we imagine. Perhaps the stories of willpower and the acceptance of difference have existed far longer than the written record. The lost city of Pavlo-Petri. More than 5,000 years ago, when the world's first civilizations were just emerging, a bustling city once stood on the shores of Greece. Then, suddenly, the sea swallowed this place, dragging its roads, houses, and tombs down to the ocean floor. This was Pavlo-Petri, the oldest submerged city ever discovered by humankind. The story begins in 1904 when a Greek geologist first noticed unusual lines beneath the water near Vatican Bay on the southern edge of the Peloponnese Peninsula. But it wasn't until 1967 when marine archaeologist Nicholas Fleming returned to survey the site that the secret of Pavlo-Petri truly came to light. Just a few meters from the shore at a depth of about 3 to 4 m lay the remains of a city buried by the sea for thousands of years. In 1968, a team from Cambridge University mapped the site in detail and uncovered a network of streets and more than 37 ancient tombs. Based on pottery shards, stone tools, and other artifacts, they determined that Pavlo-Petri existed as far back as 3,500 BC, making it the oldest underwater city ever found. What makes Pavlo-Petri remarkable is its nearly perfect state of preservation. Beneath layers of sand and seawater, the city still holds a clearly planned street grid, two-story houses with gardens and a large central square. Across more than 9 acres, archaeologists also found an advanced water system complete with channels and pipes. Pottery from site, weaving frames and tools showed that Pavlo-Petri was once a thriving center for trade and textiles. But the greatest mystery is why such a carefully built city was swallowed by the sea and never rebuilt. For decades, scientists have tried to answer this question. In 2009, a research team from the University of Nottingham, working with the Greek Ministry of Culture, used sonar and underwater robots to create a 3D map of the entire city. They uncovered thousands of square meters of new structures, including grand halls and streets never before recorded. These discoveries confirmed that the city developed continuously from the Neolithic era to the Menian Age. But the reason for Pavlo-Petri's submersion remains unsolved. Many theories have been suggested. Some believe a series of earthquakes, especially around 1000 BC or 375 AD, caused the ground to sink and the city to flood. The Peloponnese is famous for seismic activity, which supports this idea. Others argue that rising sea levels and subsiding land slowly drowned the city. When Pavlo-Petri was first built, it stood about 3 m above sea level, but by 12,200 BC, it was already at risk of flooding. There are even those who link Pavlo-Petri to the legend of Atlantis, since the city predates Plato's story of the lost continent. But most scholars see this as just a fascinating coincidence. Some have suggested economic collapse or political upheaval like the Dorian invasion may have driven residents away before the final inundation. Pavlo-Petri is not just a relic of the past. It is a window into a world from 5,000 years ago. Here we see a complex society and a thriving maritime economy. The urban planning and water systems prove that this was a highly organized community, challenging the idea that people of that era only lived in simple villages. Yet the mystery remains. Why was a bustling city abandoned, never to be rebuilt? Did its people escape disaster, or were they swept away by the sea forever? And how many other ancient cities are still lying silent beneath the waves waiting to be found? Today, Pavlo-Petri faces threats from pollution, illegal artifact hunting, and the impact of tourism. Even under UNESCO protection, this city stands as a reminder of the fragility of our past. The Gosford glyphs, strange symbols in the Australian bush. Hidden deep in a narrow sandstone CLFT within Brisbane Water National Park, more than 300 strange symbols resembling Egyptian hieroglyphs have appeared. They tell stories of ships, gods, and a lost prince stranded in a faraway land. But how did these symbols end up in Australia, thousands of miles from Giza? This is a mystery that has sparked debate among researchers around the world. The story began in 1975 when a local surveyor discovered odd markings in the rocks near Kerrong, about 60 kilometers north of Sydney. The area was already well known for Aboriginal rock art by the Guringai people. But what Dash found was entirely different. Etched onto 2 sandstone walls, each 3.5 m high, were more than 300 characters that looked like Egyptian hieroglyphs. including images of the god Anubis, the Ankh symbol, ships, and even the name of King Khufu, the builder of the Giza pyramids. Dash even noticed that every time he returned, new symbols seemed to have appeared. This only deepened the question: was this an ancient site or a modern prank that had been added to over the years? News of the Gosford glyphs spread quickly. The symbols were carved in a narrow rock crevice accessible only by climbing or scaffolding. The engravings tell of an Egyptian fleet caught in a storm, survivors landing on an unfamiliar shore and recording their story. They depicted animals like birds, dogs, owls, and hybrid human-animal figures very much in the style of ancient Egyptian art. Yet, the symbols were inconsistent. Some were faded and worn, while others looked freshly carved. Strikingly, the carvings mixed symbols from many different periods, including ones that only appeared more than 2,000 years after King Khufu. Attempts to decode these symbols have continued for decades, but with no definitive result. In 1983, rock art conservator David Lambert observed that some of the carvings were only a few months old. Egyptologists like Professor Boyo Ainga from Macquarie University dismissed their authenticity, pointing out that the glyphs did not follow Egyptian grammar and mixed symbols from many eras in a jumbled layout. Still, there are supporters who believe this is evidence of an Egyptian expedition to Australia 4,500 years ago, even though no other ancient Egyptian artifacts have ever been found on the continent. There are many theories about the origins of the Gosford glyphs. Some suggest they were made by Australian soldiers who had served in Egypt during World War I, carving the symbols as a prank or a memorial. Others think they were created in the 1970s or 1980s by a particular individual. Alan Dash himself once witnessed someone carving the rock in 1984. Supporters of their authenticity point out that some glyphs show a deep knowledge of ancient Egyptian culture, such as the depiction of Thoth as a baboon, something little known in the West in the early 20th century. Some have tried to link the glyphs to Aboriginal people, but the style is completely different. There are even theories involving aliens or lost civilizations, though none have any real evidence. The Gosford glyphs leave us with big questions about history and truth. If this is a hoax, why would someone go to such lengths to carve over 300 symbols in a remote rocky gorge over many years? If it is an ancient monument, how could Egyptians have crossed thousands of miles to Australia without leaving a trace elsewhere? Whatever the truth, the gospel glyphs are a reminder that history is always full of unsolved mysteries. And sometimes the most mysterious things are also the most fragile. The Colossal artifact, the mystery of the spark plug in ancient stone. Thousands of years ago, when humans were still just hunter-gatherers, no one could have imagined that one day in the ancient stone layers of the Colossal Mountains in California, a mystery would emerge that would spark endless debate among scientists and archaeology enthusiasts alike. On February 13, 1961, 3 rock hunters, Wallace Lane, Virginia Maxey, and Mike Mixel, stumbled upon a strange stone while searching for quartz on a mountain over 300 m high near Olanche, California. At first, they thought it was just an ordinary geode. But when Michael tried to cut the stone in half, his diamond saw nearly broke, having hit something incredibly hard inside. Instead of a sparkling crystal, they found an object that looked like a spark plug. A white ceramic cylinder surrounding a shiny metal rod, all encased in hardened clay and a fossilized shell. Later, X-ray images revealed an almost complete internal structure. A metal spring, a copper ring, and a ceramic core, all reminiscent of an early 20th century automotive spark plug. The strange thing was that the outer clay was believed to be up to 500,000 years old, predating even the appearance of modern humans. The Colossal artifact quickly became a topic of heated controversy. The stone itself was a chunk of petrified clay containing a soft hexagonal layer around a ceramic cylinder. At the center was a metal rod just 2 millimeters thick, which had not rusted despite being encased in rock for so long. Surrounding it were copper rings still intact. All these details raise the question, if it was a spark plug, why was it found inside a rock that seemed hundreds of thousands of years old? And if it was some ancient technology, who could have made it? After its discovery, the Colossal artifact was sent to an unnamed laboratory for analysis where X-rays confirmed its spark plug-like structure. But the object was never examined by independent experts. After 1969, the actual artifact vanished, leaving behind only a few blurry magazine photos and inconsistent accounts. This only deepened the mystery surrounding the colossal artifact. Over the decades that followed, many scientists tried to explain what happened. Some geologists suggested it was simply a modern spark plug encased in clay through a natural process called concretion, where soil and minerals quickly accumulate around a foreign object. In fact, several other metal objects have been found nearby, encased in similar material at Owens Lake after only a few decades. Skeptics argued that the fossilized shell was simply a misunderstanding, since no official scientific report has ever confirmed the half-million-year age. Still, believers in the out-of-place artifact theory insist that the colossal artifact is proof of advanced technology existing before modern civilization. Others think it's just a hoax or a bizarre coincidence of nature. But whatever the explanation, everyone agrees on one thing. No one can verify the truth since the original object has long since disappeared. Today, the colossal artifact, living on only in photographs and memories, continues to challenge our curiosity. If it truly is a modern spark plug, why was it buried in rock that appears to be hundreds of thousands of years old? If it's a product of ancient technology, why is there no other evidence of such a civilization? And if it's all just a coincidence, how could so many details line up so perfectly? The colossal artifact reminds us that history is always full of unanswered questions. Somewhere in the wild mountains or deep beneath the earth, there may still be secrets waiting, ready to shatter everything we think we know about the past of our own species. Thank you for joining us on this journey to uncover humanity's greatest mysteries. If you enjoyed these stories, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of the mysteries waiting in our next episodes. See you on the next adventure.